Hello vinyl community, it's Brad again. I'd just like to say a big thank you for all those people who subscribed and made comments on my first video. This is my second video, which is a kind of continuation of the first one, stuff I've been listening to recently. So let's not mess about, let's get on with it. First one, Dead Kennedys. Fresh fruit for rotting vegetables. It's a classic, you know it. Punk at its best, post-punk, whatever you want to call it. This is a fairly early-ish UK pressing, hasn't got the heads, so not an original pressing, but like I said, fairly early. Great record, Cherry Red Records, just brilliant. All the sort of the best known early songs are on here. Kill the Poor, California Uber LA, Holiday in Cambodia. Essential if you're a punk fan, you've probably got it already, but amazing record. Still listen to it now, you know, Joe Biafra, genius lyrics, breakneck speed, it's fantastic. Every home should have one. Up next, Beastie Boys, Hello Nasty, 1998 I think. It's an original pressing, not in great condition. Bought it off Discogs, wasn't very happy about that, but these things happen. The record plays really well, no problems at all, so that's the most important thing. And not one of their earlier albums, but this is a great record again. Super disco breaking, body moving, intergalactic, 3 MCs, 1 DJ. It's a double album, but loads of different styles of music on here, not just hip hop. Especially when you get onto the later part of the album, side 4, second one on side 2, it's a great album. And as good as anything they've done, I would say, in terms of the consistency of the album. That good. I'm a big fan. Next one is the House Martins, the people who grin themselves to death. Very British, English style music, I would say, on this one. Paul Heaton, obviously the lead singer, went on to other things, as you know, and this comes with a lyric in it. This was their second album on Go Discs, after London Nil Hull 4, which is a better album, this one, to be honest, but this is still a good one. Particularly side 1 is strong on this one, and it's got I Can't Put My Finger on It, We're Not Going Back, Me and the Farm, If I Get Overexcited, and Build, which is a great record. And obviously Norman Cook came out of here, but that's a really fine album from 1986 or 7 probably. Another punk classic, X-Ray Specs, Germ Free Adolescence. This is a first UK pressing, and this is one of those records you save in a fire. It's Polystyrene Natal, great album. The only album they made, sadly. But again, every punk home should have one. Comes with a lyric in her as well. Gym Free Adolescence. And there was another album that came out recently that I've seen. It's got a very similar cover to this. And I just can't remember which one it was. Something that's come out in the last couple of years. But yeah, fantastic. Punk with sax. Back to the 60s for this one. 5 Live Yardbirds. This is an original mono pressing. I think this is from 1964. Yeah, I think so. And this one's hard to get hold of in the UK at a decent price. This is one of those ones that I bought. It's on Columbia. At an amazing price. This was a record fair with a load of other stuff that wasn't in great condition. But I think normally this would be about £40 album in the UK. And I paid £4 for it. And there's one song plays quite badly, but the rest of the album plays absolutely amazingly. I think the main reason why it was so cheap is maybe someone's written their name on the front here, but it's, you know, it's the back, not in great condition again, but £4. Original mono. Can't go wrong, can you really? One of my music heroes. I don't have many music heroes, but this is one of them. John Fox. This one is with Lewis Gordon, called Crash and Burn from 2003. John Fox, I'm sure you all know, original lead singer in of Ultravox in the 70s. Went on to make solo albums in the early 80s. Disappeared from the music scene for quite a while and then came back, and has been fairly prolific since then. Making albums almost on an annual basis in the last few years. Collaborated with a few different people. And then the thing about this one was an interesting one, because the original CD that came out in 2003 had 12 tracks on it, and this album has only got 8. So there's a few missing off here. They've mainly picked the better songs from the album, to be fair. Title track, Broken Furniture, Ultraviolet Infrared, Dust and Light. Brilliant songs. As good as anything he's done, I would say, in his career. Not his best album, that one, but it's a good one. Good solid album. Reckless Eric, big smash. This is a great record. Pop art sleeve, gotta love it. Double album. It's a gatefold. And here's the label, which is more sort of pop arty stuff. But he was, you probably know, on the Stiff Records label at the back end of the 70s, one of the first people on the label, along with Nick Lowe, Lane Lovitch, Elvis Costello. Famously went on the famous Stiff Records tour. But he wasn't one of the bigger sort of more established names as time went on. He never really made it massively. Whole Wide World was a big hit, and it's been covered from everybody from, I don't know, Paul Westerberg to the Monkees. But this is a fantastic album, and I just think he's really underrated. I bought an album by him that's come out of vinyl again recently. That originally came out in the early 90s. He's never made a lot of albums over the years, but buy his stuff if you see it. I recommend it highly. He's really, really good. And that's a great double album. Back end of the 80s for this one. This is The Cult, Sonic Temple. Been on the VC a lot, you know it. Produced by Bob Rock. It blows me away. I must have heard this album, I don't know, hundreds of times, and it's one of the great albums for me. Sun King, Firewoman, American Horse, Sweet Soul Sister, Soul Asylum, New York City Automatic Blues. They're great songs, and it's one of those few albums where every song on it is absolutely top draw. And their albums have often been of different styles. I mean, they started off sort of post-punk, new kind of, hard to describe really, and I love their first album. And then they went on to being Led Zeppelin-esque. And then they sort of turned into hard rock, heavy metal almost. But this album for me, hard to beat by anybody ever. More hip hop, Cypress Hill. This is Black Sunday. I'm just looking at the pressing. I think the original thing was 1993, but this is also music on vinyl, audiophile. Sounds absolutely brilliant, as you'd expect. And as far as hip hop goes, this is in the top 5 all time for me. It's all about the schools and that kind of thing. Double album, no gatefold sadly, but this is on Columbia. But it's just the bass lines. I mean, I'm big on the bass guitar, and this is just blows you away. I ain't going out like that. Insane in the Brain, Shit Goes Down, Cock the Hammer. It's just full of hip hop classics, and like I said, it's the bass lines that do it for me. That laid back stone kind of sound. It's absolutely top draw, and any hip hop fan must have that. If you like any sort of music, buy it. Brilliant, that good. These are some of the 45s that I've been playing singles that I've been playing recently. The first one by the Au Pairs, who were sort of a post-punk, if you don't know, group that formed in the late 70s from Birmingham. I think Leslie Woods was the lead singer, and they only made, I think, 2 albums and 3 singles maybe. First album is fantastic. That's a must-have. But this is called Diet, and it's obvious. I think it's a double A side. This one, both great songs. Classic post-punk, early 80s. XTC, Love on a Farmer's Boy Wages. This is, sorry, Farm Boy's Wages. This is a double pack. There's the inside, in the style of a wallet. This is, I would sort of show this one really because it's got 4 great songs. And normally with double packs there's also some live stuff, maybe some double outtake stuff kind of thing, but this is top rate. All four songs are brilliant. On the B side, in loving memory of Name, was produced by Steve 9 XTC, this one, and then Desert Island on the second disc, and Toys. But all 4 songs are absolutely fantastic. XTC, British jangly pop, brilliant. Several of their albums, but that's a great double pack single. Here's one from 1978, I think. This is Destination Venus by the Resilos. Resilos mainly based in Scotland. I think this was their 3rd single, maybe the second or 3rd single. This is on Sire. And Resilos, you know about them, they went on to be the Revelos after that because there was for contractual reasons and sort of changes to the band, but this is a fantastic record. It's kind of, again, post-punk, kind of almost B-52s possibly, would be okay to say that, I think maybe. Next, another from the very early 80s, Teardrop Explodes, Haha I'm Drowning. This is another double pack single. And this has I think it's a demo version of Bouncing Babies on the B side from 1979. And then Books and Poppies in the Field are also on this double pack. That's How I'm Drowning, Poppies in the Field, which is one of my favourite Teardrop Explode songs, which is on the Kilimanjaro album. And here's the other one. And that's actually Read It in Books is on there, which is the song that he wrote with Ian McCulloch. You all know about Ian McCulloch and Julian Cope and about how they came together, so I won't bore you with that one. Some more punk here. This is the Vibrators. This is Baby Baby. And this is a promotional copy. I don't think you can see that on there, hopefully you can. But that's a nice one to have, even though Danny's written his name all over it. People do these things sadly. But Vibrators, a London punk group. I think they started in the mid-70s, did a few sessions for John Peel along the way. Made a couple of great early albums as well. Metallica, Enter Sandman. This is, it says it's a picture disc on the front, but maybe stretching the realms of the picture disc a little bit, but there it is. This is Mick Karn featuring David Sylvian. This is called Boy, or Bowie as you say in America. This is a 1986 release. It's a really good song, not one that you see very often. It's not really got any value, but in terms of price, but it's a really good record. Mick Karn featuring David Sylvian, obviously both in Japan together. Late 90s for this one. This is Queer by Garbage. This comes in its plastic sleeve, which is like a CD case almost, dare I say. But inside is the record in a normal sleeve with an insert that matches the sleeve. Dig this one out. Yeah, it's sort of like a backing card. It's the same as the sleeve. And there's the record. Queer by Garbage. And it's just got like a remix on the B-side Another good one here, Robert Wyatt, Shipbuilding. This one, again, I mentioned Kevin Ayres in my last video. Robert Wyatt, obviously from Soft Machine, went on to do lots of solo stuff on his own. Fantastic voice, amazing lyrics, Shipbuilding written by Elvis Costello. This came in 4 different sleeves, and this is one of them. I think I've got one of the other sleeves, and there is a name for it, and they've all got their own names. I can't remember the name of this one anyway, I forget. I can't remember, but this is sort of the tarpaulin one if you're looking them up. Janicki, In Your Car. This is kind of indie pop, indie rock, indie pop probably really. Lauren Laverne on lead vocals, who's a presenter here in the UK. And this is from 1996, I think. In Your Car by Janicki. Very sing-along chorus. Recommend listening to that one if you can. It's a good listen. This is 808 State, In Your Face, my favourite 808 State single. And I think this one's on ZTT. And this is that kind of, I don't know, trancey kind of stuff from the early 90s. But it's a great song, instrumental song. And another ZTT record I've got here. This is Jewel by Propaganda, German group, fronted by Claudia Brücken, and this is another double single. It's one of those, again, mainly sort of remixes on it. But that's the label. Nice custom made label, that. But it's keyboard heaven. Brilliantly played, fantastically produced, and the orchestration, top rate, fantastic record. More late 80s indie. James, Come Home. One of their early singles. A good melodic, bass-driven song, Rough Trade. And James, you probably know about them. They were sort of part of the Manchester scene time, kind of again, but they started off as like a jamming band who just used to sort of make stuff up as they went along and turn it into this really popular indie group. But that's one of my favourite early singles by them. And finally, Iron Maiden, Can I Play With Madness? Needs no introduction. EMI. But one of my favourite Iron Maiden records. That's it for now. See you on the next video. Again, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. See you later.